Hadith 27. The Prophet said, piety is noble character, but sin is what comes to your mind and you dislike that the people become aware of it. May Allah be pleased with him, said, I came to Allah's Messenger and he said, you came to inquire about piety. I said, yes. He said, search your mind. Piety is what the soul is at ease with and the heart finds tranquility in. But sin is what occurs to the mind and brings hesitation in the heart, even when the people give your rulings telling you what to do. A Hasan Hadith, we were given the report from the Musnad of the two great scholars, with a Hasan chain of transmission. Commentary. These two hadiths are in regard to the explanation of the concept of piety and how it can be attained. It is a comprehensive word for every good quality, just as taqwa is a comprehensive word for all good qualities. The opposite of piety is sin, as contained in the word of Allah the Exalted. Help you one another in al-bir and al-taqwa, virtue, righteousness and piety, but do not help one another in sin and transgression. In these two hadith, the Prophet explained piety and sin. His saying, piety is a noble character, that is to say, good conduct is one of the important aspects of piety. Does this not mean that piety is entirely restricted to good conduct? However, good conduct is the most important form of piety. This is similar to the statement of the Prophet. Pilgrimage is staying at Arafah. Staying at Arafah is not all the pilgrimage entails, but it is the most important pillar of pilgrimage. It is also similar to the Prophet's word. Supplication is worship, in spite of the fact that supplication is only one of the forms of worship. Therefore, good conduct is an important aspect of piety. The meaning of noble character is having big heart, cheerfulness in meeting people, and dealing with the people in a nice manner, as the Prophet said, and relate with the people with good character. This is the attribute of the Prophet. Allah, the Mighty and Sublime, said, verily you, O Muhammad, are on an exalted standard of character. Good character embodies a lot of good and it earns people's love for the one with good character. Likewise, if someone inviting people to the path of Allah has good character, such will lead to guidance of the people by their accepting his call. And this is the most crucial aspect of piety. He said, but sin is the opposite of piety, transgression that comes from conducts, deeds and statements. What resolves in your heart, meaning it occurs to the heart, and the heart says it, but the person dislikes it. In another version it says, and brings hesitation in the heart if the individual doubts whether to express it or not. This shows that it is a sin. The meaning of the heart here is the heart of a pious believer. As for a sinful person, he is not a scale to judge piety and sin. It rather refers to the pious Muslim whose approval and rejection of something is considerable, so the one who hates expressing a thing and dislikes that people should find him upon it, such is proof that it is a sin. So leave it and avoid it. Thus the believer's heart is the yardstick. This is an important principle, and this hadith is among the concise phrases given to the Prophet. The Jawami al-Kalim is all-encompassing. It refers to what entails comprehensive meanings, and this is the quality of the Prophet's speech. In the hadith of Wabisa bin that he came to the Prophet intending to ask him a question, but the Prophet preceded him and said to him, you came to inquire about piety. In another version he said, shall I inform you or will you ask me? No, Wabisa said, no, you should rather tell me that he said you came to inquire about piety and sin. This is one of the signs of prophethood, that Allah the Mighty and Sublime informed him of what Wabisa came for before he asked him. Then the Prophet explained to him that piety is what the soul is at ease with and the heart finds tranquility in. Tranquility is the opposite of unrest and confusion. It means stability and lack of haste and unrest. The tranquil is stable, and the opposite are the confused and uneasy. What the soul is at ease with and the heart finds tranquility in, that is the heart and mind of a believer. He said, but sin is what comes to your mind, and you dislike that the people become aware of it. In another version it reads, and brings hesitation in the heart, so it may occur to you to commit sin, but you will not be bold enough to show it. If it were righteousness, you would not have hesitated to make it known. Your hesitation is a proof that it is a sin, because Allah has put light in the heart of a believer and knowledge of good and evil. Allah the Exalted said, if you obey and fear Allah, He will grant you Furqan, a criterion to judge between right and wrong. The word al-Furqan, criterion, means distinction between good and evil, the harmful and beneficial. This is what is meant by al-Furqan. So Allah puts al-Furqan in the heart of a believer so as to distinguish between good and evil. Then he said, even when the people give you rulings telling you what to do, the meaning of al-Taqa, give you rulings and